Hello, and welcome to Horror Movies and Shit. I'm your host, Jim, and with me as always is...
Mark?
Yes, you are. Sir, I'm wondering why you have called us all here today. So while Mark is fiddling with his contraption, let's remind everybody about our Facebook group, Horror Movies and Shit. We also have our email, horrormoviesandshit@gmail.com.
Yep.
What else am I missing, Mark? We have
Uh,
your fantastic group, the Horror Meme Group.
yes. Still not
Still not
the
quite what it was.
right. We were getting there at some point, but now we've lost it. So. Okay. So yes. So as we are getting towards the end of the year, Jim,
Yes.
how was your 2022?
I've had better. I've had worse. It's incredibly mediocre, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not a train wreck.
Right.
So
I'm the train wreck. My year's not allowed to be.
oh yeah. I mean, that's every year.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I figured I would just run through the movies which have logged from the start of this year.
Okay.
And
I'll tell you how wrong you are about all of them.
Huh?
I said you do that, and I'll tell you how wrong you are about all of them.
And these aren't all obviously going to be made in 2022 or anything. These are just random ones, and I've probably forgotten to log some too. So
I'm sure.
I kicked off the year with a forgettable movie because I don't remember anything about it. It is the 2018 thriller Adrift.
I have not seen that one.
Where basically it's this couple. I think they're set adrift due to a hurricane, but honestly, I remember nothing about it.
Okay, well, I mean that's.
I rated it a 3.5 out of 5. So you would think that it would have been more memorable, but no.
Well, given how liberal you are with your ratings, I don't know that I would agree with that.
What do you mean liberal? I'm just honest.
You're very forgiving.
I do like movies, Jim.
Yes, you do.
The next one up, I don't know if you've seen it, but it is Satirical Gold. Don't Look Up.
I have not seen that. I keep meaning to, but it keeps falling off my radar for some reason.
It is well worth your time. It is scarily apt to today and how some people think and how people are controlled.
I have to say, I think it's Jennifer Lawrence's bangs that really keep putting me off.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's a movie with bangs in it, 0 out of 10 for me.
100%.
Okay, the next one up is Marvel's Eternals.
That was a boring movie.
I went into this one just hearing really bad things about it.
Yeah.
It was too long. It was plotting, and some of the characters were just dumb.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was all right.
I mean, so let me just put it this way: the further away I get from my experience in the theater with seeing that movie, the more I don't like it. Does that make sense?
I don't feel like I need to go and revisit it.
Yeah, 100%.
So but yeah.
The best part of that movie was the Asian guy. Like he was gold in that movie.
Yeah, he was all right. Like it was just such a kind of all right movie.
Yeah.
That it was just all right.
all right.
Okay.
That was Eternals.
Yes, that was Eternals. A very middle of the road Marvel movie, which didn't really succeed, but it was all right. The next one I have is the 1977 movie Rituals, where 5 doctors go camping and they are stalked by an unknown person who seems to know something about them.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that movie, but go ahead.
Yeah, this has oh God, what's his name? Hal Holbrook, one of those guys. It's got a few famous people in it. I don't remember right now, but it really had kind of the Deliverance feel about it,
Okay,
and it was quite a bizarre movie.
okay.
So it got a good rating for me just because it was weird,
I'm sure it did.
or a decent rating. It was 3 out of 5. So yep.
Okay, that's fair.
Next up we have okay. A movie called A Dark Song.
So I heard some very good things about that movie, but I also heard that it was very long.
The,
Is that true? I didn't watch it.
there's a long build up.
Okay,
Let's put it
because
like
that's
that.
the one about the ritual where the mom wants to do the ritual, right?
Right.
Okay,
And the reasonings behind why she wants to do it aren't maybe what they seem to be.
okay,
And the guy who is helping her, he's he's weird, dude. He's weird. Yeah. He gets her to like strip and stuff, and he's like, it's weird.
okay,
Um, but yeah, that's another kind of middle of the road movie for me.
okay.
Next up is the pretty superb Shudder documentary, Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched: A History of Folk Horror.
And I have not seen that one yet,
Yes,
but you've spoken highly of it.
right. I think I've talked about that before, so yay for that one. So we're still in January. The next one was The Last Thing Mary Saw.
I have not heard of that one.
Where it's kind of it's set back in like the mid 19th century, and it's kind of like a religious, witchy, supernaturally one. I probably
Okay.
got it from watching that documentary, honestly, because I think I watched it the day after, and I think it
Okay.
has the woman who plays Orphan.
Oh, okay.
This got a 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, that good, huh?
Yeah, nah, it didn't leave me with many memories, and it was kind of boring.
Okay.
Next up is Nobody.
Nope. There's nobody on your list?
Have you heard of Nobody?
I don't think I have, but I've heard he's perfect.
Uh, yeah, this was done by the guy that are the director of John Wick, and it's got what's
Oh
his
yes,
name?
okay.
The older
Yep,
guy
I
that yeah,
yep, I do.
Bob,
I remember it now that you're saying that. Yep.
that Better Call Saul he was in.
Okay. And how was it? Because I did not see that movie.
Oh yeah, it was a fun time. 3.5 out of 5 for me. I mean,
Okay.
it's
Just a regular actiony flick, right?
yeah, and it kind of goes with the trope of he doesn't look like an actiony guy, and he's trying to stay away from it all, but he just gets dragged back into it, kind of like John
Just
Wick, except John Wick
just when
looks
I
like
think I'm out, they drag me back in.
right. Next up, I've got two more that I watched in January.
Okay.
The sequel to Hell House LLC, which
Okay.
is Hell House LLC 2, the
No, you
Abandoned
don't say.
Hotel. I know, right?
That is such a novel marketing idea. Just putting the number 2 at the end.
Thank you very much.
Yep. It certainly is. This one wasn't as good as the first one. The first one was definitely a bit better. I mean, the first one doesn't really have an awful lot to it. I mean, it's you can really just turn your brain off and watch it. But it's one of these found footage things. They do some creepy things with some of the because they're making like one of these haunted houses for Halloween, and they move
Okay.
like the clown dolls and around and stuff, and some of that's pretty effective and creepy. The sequel was all right. 2.5 out of 5 for me.
Okay, fair.
Next up, the last watch of January was Crimson Peak, which I hadn't seen before.
I from so The story's a bit weak, if I'm being honest, but visually, it's a beautiful movie. Like the colors and the sets, they're just beautiful visually. Movie's a bit weak though.
Yep, it got a 3 out of 5 from me. It was
Yep.
all right.
Yeah, it's all right. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Like, I don't ever feel like going back and watching it.
I haven't. I saw it in theaters and I've never watched it again.
Okay. I had to look at the description of this one because I had no memory of it. My first viewing in February was the 2020 shocker, The Empty Man.
I've seen I know what the cover looks like, but I've never seen it.
Right. Again, this was very middle of the road. It felt very like a creepy pasta or Slender Man type dealio.
Yeah.
Don't remember much about it, but it was all right whenever I watched it. So there we go.
Okay.
Next up is a movie which was pretty well hyped at the time. I remember. It is the 2021 Scott Cooper directed Antlers.
I wanted to like this movie so much.
What?
I really did, but I did not. I did not enjoy it at all.
Again, I thought it was middle of the road. Whenever things get hyped, etc., there's obviously going. It's almost better to go into a movie that people kind of hate.
So my biggest problem with this movie was that it tried too hard to be gritty and ultra realistic, and it just failed.
I mean, I don't remember leaving with that impression. I kind of left thinking that it was going to be something a bit more than what it turned out to be.
Right.
So it was all right. A lot of these ones are just all right. In fact, the next one that we get to is not an all right one. The next one we have is the 2022 Abomination, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
We're split on this one as we usually are. I thought it was fun for the fan service film it was. I didn't have a problem with it. Did I think it was great? No, but it was okay. What? Oh, you're gonna have too much fun with that shit, sir.
This is just garbage. It was stupid characters doing stupid, unlikable characters doing stupid things for no good reason. Nobody was believable. The whole, oh, hey, this is going to be funny. Let's have a huge guy on a bus with a huge chainsaw, and all the kids, Jim, all the kids, because they're like kids in their phones, right? They'll all just put their phones up and start videotaping
it. Oh, Jesus. Next. Mark and his new toy.
Yeah. I blame my wife for that. She bought that.
I'll be coming for her on Facebook. I will tell you that.
Okay. Next up, another shitty movie. Don't Breathe 2.
I did not see the second one.
The first one I
did anyway.
The first one I didn't like for various reasons. This one I liked for various other reasons, or didn't like for various other reasons. It's just like
you mostly didn't like it because it wasn't part one.
No, I didn't like part one.
That's my point. But you didn't like this one more intensely because it wasn't part one. You had to find fresh reasons to not like
it. They just came up with newer ways to annoy me, which is a shame. This is a shame because I like Stephen Lang as an actor.
But that's my job.
That is true. That is true. Next up we have this one was a good one. Livid from 2011.
Never heard of it.
So this is a movie by the people that made Inside, which I don't think you've seen either, right? The
Never
French
heard of it.
Inside. This one was not as good as Inside, which I think is pretty much classic. But it is very interesting, and they kind of do a interesting take on like a haunted house thing.
Okay.
So it's well worth checking out. 4 out of 5.
Oh, okay. That's solid. Given your previous ratings.
Next up is the 1987 Arthur Penn directed Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter.
A fledgling actress is lured to a remote mansion for a screen test, soon discovering that she's actually a prisoner in the middle of a blackmail plot.
What year did you say this was?
1987.
So is that Emma Thompson?
Emma Thompson? No.
Who was in that movie?
It's a famous actress. Let's see. Dead of Winter. It's just a pity.
Mary Steenburgen. Mary Steenburgen. I haven't seen this one.
Yep. Roddy McDowell.
And Roddy
also.
McDowell.
Yes, this was quite entertaining. I quite liked this. It was a little different than some of the other output, certainly in the late 80s. So I would recommend this.
I will have to watch that because I'm surprised I haven't seen this one yet.
I gave that a 3. See, this is what I don't like about this app that I use. It only gives you like out of 5 rating, which I think is not enough.
Okay.
I would rather do something out of 10 or out of 100 than out of 5.
I mean, it's only numbers.
No, it annoys me.
You are too easily annoyed, sir. Have another drink.
I always will.
Jesus Christ.
Where did you hear this one? Oh, I forgot. I had a special Christmas edition part.
Oh Jesus, you did!
I also, just for your benefit, I recorded that.
Oh, I love it. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Next up was we're into March now.
March.
Rewatch from me, but I hadn't seen the original in a long time, which is the 2007 Wind Chill.
I don't know that one.
With it's an early role from What's Her Face that's married to John Krasinski.
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yes, and it's weird. It's weird, like seeing her so young. It's very strange. I'm used to her like kind of over the last 10 years or whatever, but she was pretty young in that. But this one's pretty good. It's basically Christmas break. It would make a good Christmas watch or winter watch. So it's Emily Blunt is leaving to go home from school, like she's in like college, and she's looking a way to get there because something happened.
I'm sorry. Don't the people from across the pond call it university?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay. You use the American vernacular, so I was shocked.
But it's not said over there. So
no. But you're still speaking there, and you're from there, so shouldn't you still use your own vernacular?
Shove it up your arse.
I like that. I like that one.
Yeah, I bet you do. All right. But yeah, so she's trying to get home from college, and a guy is giving her a lift that is in her class. He's got like flyers out. Hey, if anybody's going up here, I'm leaving. I'm driving up there, so you can hitch a ride with me. And then kind of supernatural shenanigans happen.
Okay.
But yeah, it's worth checking out. Next one, Jackass Forever.
I've never liked any of them.
It was just the usual Jackass stuff. It was all right. Nothing like nothing terribly funny. It's just like, yeah, okay. Give
It's
it
a
up,
bunch of
dudes.
50-year-old men. It's a bunch of 50-year-old men acting like 12-year-olds.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess they're like, well, we're getting paid for this, so whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So, the 2006 Larry Fessenden directed The Last Winter, another winter watch, which I
Another one I
watched
don't know,
in April.
which would be
So,
spring.
yes, correct. Yeah. This one's kind of
You got to get faster with those reactions, my friend. This is
I
dragging.
know. So this is kind of like an ecological terror type movie set up in like Antarctica. Ron Perlman's in it.
I like Ron Perlman.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. See, I gave it 3 out of 5, but I would give it probably a 7 out of 10. I should really
Okay.
just start converting these as much as I remember them.
You should.
Next one up is not a horror movie, but it was fairly disappointing. It's the Kenneth Branagh. You know Kenneth Branagh?
I do know Kenneth Branagh.
You know where he's
He
from?
was married to Emma Thompson.
You know where he's from?
He's from the UK.
Whereabouts?
That I don't know. I'm not that familiar with
He's
him.
from Northern Ireland.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Another one of your schoolmates.
Yeah, I have known everybody from Northern Ireland as such a small.
I imagine there's only like 6 of you, isn't there?
Thank you very much.
What is this button? I'm just going to press this, but I don't remember what this one is. I can't hear it.
It's like a very loud. It's almost like a Bollywood entrance.
Oh, it the button on my sound card thing says "coming."
Yeah, it's sort of like a coming attraction, like the Fox thing you would hear at the beginning of the movie. That's kind of what it's like. But it sounds very Bollywood to me.
Excellent. Well, we are multicultural.
Yes, indeed.
So anyways, getting back, it was Death on the Nile.
Oh, okay. I've not seen Death on the Nile.
It was a bit of an elongated mess, which didn't make a lot of sense, but you could figure it out fairly easily.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I used to love Agatha Christie stuff, but like the 2 remakes with that one and the Orient Express, I was not impressed. Well, I mean that one I don't know, but the Orient Express, I was not excited about that one either.
Yeah. There's definitely better things to spend your time on.
Yeah.
The next one up is, I think it was a Netflix exclusive, Choose or Die.
Sounds familiar, but I don't recall it.
Sorry.
Choose or Die.
Okay. Well then.
In pursuit of an unclaimed $125,000 prize, a broke college dropout decides to play an obscure 1980s survival computer game, Jim. But the game curses her, and she's faced with dangerous choices.
I could get into that. What did you think of it?
It was all right. I would give it probably a 5, 6 out of 10.
Okay, so that's solid enough for me to maybe enjoy it.
It's pretty dumb. I remember, but yeah, you could do worse. All right, so we're still into April, and we have an actor from one of your favorite series. It is the new Batman movie.
Huh. Never seen it. I don't need glittery bats. Thank you very much. I didn't like him when he was a vampire.
Do you not like him as an actor?
I honestly have only ever seen him in the Twilight films, so I can't say that. I just do not like those films.
You haven't seen The Lighthouse, then, obviously.
I have not. We've talked about that.
Right. The Batman is not as good as I thought it was going to be. And again, there was so much hype around this.
It was the glitter, wasn't it?
I thought, well, he's turning into a glittery bat.
Yep.
Right. Batman.
We should just call him Glitter Man.
But yeah, I mean, this was well directed. It was too long. I think it's like 3 hours long. Had no business being that long. Batman really doesn't save anybody, which I think is kind of the point of the movie. He kind of fails at every turn. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested in superheroes, definitely want to watch this. It's a lot better than most of the other DCU crap, even though it's not DCU EU. But
I am not a superhero guy, unless his superhero is behaving badly.
Like The Boys.
I love The Boys. It's like the character that played Stormfront in The Boys.
Yep.
I have never had like Anya Cash. I think her name's Anya Cash.
Mm-hmm.
I have never had somebody make me hate their character so much, and I love her for it.
Yeah. Well, it's the same as Homelander, right?
No, I legitimately can see flashes where I could start to care about him, and then he just fucks it up.
Well, they try to humanize him, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
work.
and she's not human. She's just a disgusting
she's
piece of trash. Yeah. Anyway, next.
We have the 2022 movie The Cellar.
I don't recall that one.
It is a family moves into a house. I think it's in Ireland, and the daughter mysteriously vanishes in the cellar of their new house, and they find out that the house is something going on with it. Ooh.
So it's sort of like House, but set in Ireland.
No, it's not like House at all. So I need to have like a wrong button on here somewhere.
You do, but you'd be pressing it for yourself. So what's the point?
I wish I could hear these. Anyway, you're welcome, audience.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving into May.
Speaking of superheroes behaving badly, though, while we were on that kick, I wanted to bring up one of my favorite movies, Brightburn.
Yep, very good.
Did you like it?
Yes, I thought it was excellent.
I thought it was really well done, and it was a great anti-hero movie.
Was that James Gunn?
I don't know. Let's see.
Maybe it was his brother. I think it was one of the Guns. One of the Guns were
Brian Gunn. Written by Brian and Mark Gunn and directed by David Yarovsky.
Okay, so that's where I got that connection from.
Yep,
but I thought it was very good.
I thought it was super well done.
Super well done. Next up, speaking of superhero movies, Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
I have not seen it yet, and I enjoyed the first one, so I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet.
First one to me was okay. The second one was okay.
Well, I mean, my big thing is I absolutely love the main character.
Venom or Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy. Sorry, I had to take a drink. I have a little bit of a crush on Tom Hardy. Anyway, next.
Okay. Another rewatch for me. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like ADHD, so I'll put something on. The 2000s,
Are we still in April?
We are now into May.
Oh, fantastic! Great.
Is the 2006 remake of the classic disaster movie Poseidon.
Oh.
You've seen this, obviously.
I have.
What did you
I
think?
love the original.
What do you think
I
of
love
the
the-
gay Richard Dreyfuss character?
Richard Dreyfuss is normally gold in
Gay?
whatever he does. No. He's normally gold in whatever he does. And Richard Dreyfuss from Jaws, does sort of make my heart go a little pitter patter. But I don't. That whole movie was just garbage.
It was like, and this is stupid to say, especially for like modern day, like disaster movies, like the Roland Emmerich crap. Like suspending your disbelief. Just like you have to do it with the original, but this one it's just even more and more and more. Even with Kurt Russell in it. I mean, it's not terrible. To me, it's like a Sunday afternoon. It's raining outside. You might have a hangover, and it's on the TV, so you just watch it.
I would never put this movie on again. I saw it in theaters, and I will never put it on again.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. It's not offensive or anything.
No, it's not offensive.
dumb.
It's just a garbage flick.
Well, yeah, it was all right. I give it probably a 6 out of 10.
Well, that's because you don't know how to rate movies.
Okay. Next one is a documentary called Downfall: The Case Against Boeing.
Don't know that one.
It reveals how Boeing alleged priority of profit over safety could have contributed to 2 catastrophic crashes within months of each other.
Huh. Okay.
It was good enough. I think it was probably like 6 or 7 out of 10. I do like a good documentary every now and then.
Yes, you do.
Okay, we're still in May here. I watched quite a few movies in May. We have the
Fantastic.
Sam. Is this boring?
No, not at all. I'm just kidding. I got to give you a hard time.
K.O. Okay.
I don't even know what that just said.
K.O.
What?
I think it's knockout. What's it?
Ready, go!
Let's go. The Sam Raimi directed 2022 sequel, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Loved it. I thought it's one of the few superhero movies that I enjoyed.
So to me, if I didn't already really like Sam Raimi, and I was just like an average like MCU audience member, I think the best parts of this I would miss. Like I wouldn't understand, because most of the fun of this movie is kind of seeing the Sam Raimi tropes.
Yep.
Especially his Evil Dead movies. The plot definitely needed filling out, and I believe the original cut was like 3 hours.
That'd be a bit much for me.
But it probably would have done a better job explaining the movie to the audience, because it felt like it jumped around a lot and didn't sometimes make an awful lot of sense.
Okay, I mean, you're entitled to be wrong, but that's okay.
Next up is M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Ugh, old people.
2021 old.
Yeah.
So this was a movie which I thought there was good ideas in it, but the execution, there was good like kind of the existential fears of aging and death, and it just happening so quickly. I thought were interesting to explore, but ultimately the execution was not good enough.
So this movie is a stereotypical M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie. It has really good ideas and it's really well executed until he tries to put a twist into it. And then the entire fucking movie falls apart.
I think there was aspects prior to the ending which still let it down.
That's what I'm saying. Prior to when you find out that there are people watching them, There are some really good, effective scenes in this movie.
Yeah. Again, I think So it kind of evened itself out, and I give it like a 6 out of 10 because I
It
think
went straight down the shitter.
I think there was some things there, but it just wasn't handled cohesively enough.
I agree that there are parts of it that could have been done, that could have been fleshed out and made a better film, but the film itself went straight to garbage.
Next up, obviously because I'd watched the remake, I decided to watch the Poseidon Adventure.
Which is a phenomenal movie. Like, it practically, the storyline was good, and who doesn't get heartbroken when Shelley Winters dies?
Oh, yeah, that part is hilarious. You're right.
I'm sorry, what? And you accuse me of having no heart.
Thank you very much.
No, I'm only kidding.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a much better movie. I mean, I'm not really invested too heavily that I would get upset about any of the characters dying, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you also have to remember, I got upset when I first saw the movie because ever since I can remember, I liked Shelley Winters as an actress.
Right.
And to me, seeing that movie, when I was 8, 9 years old, because I think it was 1982 or something, if not earlier, right?
Mm-hmm. It's 72.
72. Pardon me. So I was a little off, but having seen the movie when I was so young and really having liked Shelley Winters in other movies and series that I had seen her in, it was an emotional death scene for me. It was sad.
I don't think have I seen her in other stuff. I probably have, but don't remember.
I'm sure you have. She was in the Diary of Anne Frank.
Never seen it.
Oh God, you fucking people. Anyway, that's exactly how I felt. What?
Next up is 2021 Absolute Madness movie, The Sadness.
So I keep hearing about this, and I have not seen it yet. Like, you're the second person that I've heard talk about it today.
Oh, okay. And yeah, it is crazy South Korean zombie, but they still can think and they're sadistic. It's basically a movie version of the Gareth Ennis graphic novels Crossed. And it's like it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Another documentary from Shudder, the Found Footage Phenomena.
Yep, Phenomena.
Yep, this wasn't as good as the folk horror one. But I do like watching like horror documentaries, especially like themed ones. This one probably got like a 7 out of 10. It's definitely worth a watch if you like that sort of thing. Okay. Okay, we still have a couple more for May.
Oh boy!
Yeah, it's a year in review.
It is,
but we'll probably start speeding up once we get to the ones that we've already talked about on the podcast.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
In fact, we may have already reached there. I don't know.
I'll let you know.
Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City.
Okay, so I think we're split on this one. I thought it was okay. I don't think it was anything great or special or fantastic, but it was just okay.
Are you a fan of the games, Jim?
Not so much. Never was.
Right. So that could maybe also affect how somebody views it, right?
That's not inaccurate. You're right.
I thought this, like, even taking away the game aspect of it, I thought this was just kind of like cheap, badly acted. Wasn't great.
But you enjoyed the series, and that was worse.
You're probably right.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's just it depends. how you watch
It probably was just the vibe of the whole thing. I would imagine, because sometimes that just happens. And there's a vibe or just an air about a certain series or TV show.
But
So-
yeah, even the show wasn't great. I wasn't like a huge fan of it, but I watched it all
No.
the way through. So there's something about that. Okay, next
Right,
up
which is saying something, because you don't like TV shows. You don't like series, number one, and number two, I couldn't get through even a single episode. So,
it's not like I don't like TV shows or series. It just
well, no, you don't get invested in them, so you don't follow them through.
well, something has to grab me and keep me watching it. And if it doesn't do that in an episode or two, I'm just like, whatever. Even like Dahmer, right? Got
Yeah.
halfway through Dahmer, and I'm like, I couldn't care less about this anymore.
That's fair.
but it just didn't. Like, it's just like, okay, let's just take a break. Okay. We have 2021 Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I enjoyed the hell out of that movie. I thought it was fun fan service.
This is a poster child of, oh, hey, we're going to market it to the people that watched the original, but we're going to have kids in it to try and appeal to the younger Stranger Things crowd. But hey, we're also not going to have one single new idea. We're just going to rehash the original Ghostbusters.
And you know what? It did it, and it owned it, and it fucking worked.
I suppose you like the Psycho remake.
No.
What do you mean? It's the same thing.
No.
Completely unoriginal.
I don't disagree,
Derivative.
but it's still a fun movie. I'm sorry you have no sense of wonderment from when you were a child left. That must hurt.
Let's make up.
Let's make up. Oh my god, this is getting so inappropriate. I need an adult.
All right.
Not that adult.
Next up, we have a series which I have really no interest in for a long time, but it was on streaming somewhere. So I watched No Time to Die, the most recent James Bond movie.
I'm not a Bond fan, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb. Okay. For whatever reason, I watched 2016's Ron Howard directed Robert Langdon Inferno.
I liked the books. I liked the Da Vinci Code, and I liked Angels and Demons, and that's as far as I got.
I give this a 2 out of 5.
Yeah,
Don't remember any.
I don't remember anything about that movie, so I can't disagree with you. Even Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol wasn't very good. Like Peacock tried to do a TV series.
A
with
lot of
Robert
this,
Langdon.
yeah,
It's Robert Langdon in the early years, and it's just not great.
a lot of this is stupid, like numerology bullshit crap. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. We have The Black Phone.
I thought this was really well done. I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was.
Go ahead.
I don't know if it was. I'm not going to say it was inventive or it was anything all that brand new, but I thought it was really well done.
I give it a 3.5 out of, or a 7 out of 10. I thought it was perfectly serviceable.
Yep.
Some things didn't make an awful lot of sense in it. Again,
Right.
And it felt, and I know Joe Hill wrote this, but it felt just too Stephen King.
Well, I wonder why.
Right, but like I'm thinking, like, wouldn't you try and distance yourself a little bit from what your dad's written?
But that's why he changed his name.
Because then assholes like me sitting here doing a stupid podcast will just be like,
wait, whoa, excuse me. Half of this podcast is stupid. The other half is me.
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
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 Okay.
All right.
Enough.
Yeah,
Enough.
it's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't ever feel a need to rewatch it. Okay. Now we're definitely getting on when we started the podcast.
Wait. What month are we in?
Now we are in July.
Okay, so let's stop, Mark. Do you remember our anniversary? What is the first day, Mark, that we ever the first day that this podcast ever became a thing? Excuse me.
Probably July 12th,
Not quite.
13th,
Not quite.
14th.
It was the 21st.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I
July
really
21st.
because I watched The Meg and The Last Shark on the 11th.
Right, so it's not necessarily when we recorded, it's when we published.
No, I know, but that's a long time before we.
Well,
recorded.
because remember, I had to learn how to edit the audio, and I still can't get a handle on the video. So,
right. So Thor: Love and Thunder was the last thing.
That is such fucking garbage.
Yeah. Just too far.
I wanted to like it because I loved Ragnarok so much.
Right. Right.
Yep.
So
that's a shame too.
I will finish off. I've only watched another. Well, I watched before I forget because it was a TV series, Netflix series, but it's more like a documentary type one with Peter Dinklage as a narrator. How to Become a Tyrant.
Was it a Game of Thrones documentary?
No, it's like a 6-part discussion about. It's like basically a playbook of how to become like a dictator. And each episode really like focuses in on like controlling the press, but each episode really just hones in on one specific dictator. So it might be Idi Amin or it might be Stalin in the next one. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary about looking at today's America and how much of this has been going on. But we'll save that for our political and religious podcast that's upcoming.
That's news to me, but okay, let's go.
That would be great to have guests on.
Oh God, I can already think of who our first guests would be.
It would be a 10-hour podcast.
If with you talking, yes, sir.
K.O. What's this?
Nah. Oh, now we're in a marching band.
Yeah, because I'd march all over them. Yeah, it wasn't funny. Okay,
No.
so just to round this out, for this year, if we don't record, we'll probably not record until next year. The last two things that I watched, well, we'll do this one first because I've already talked about it. I rewatched Nope.
Okay.
And
I know we've talked about it, but I'm really curious. I don't remember what you thought about it.
It went from so whenever I first watched it, I did not like it at all. I gave it like probably a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
But it was a movie where I kind of thought about it some more, and then I'm like, maybe I do like this. And I think I was either not in the right mood, or I wasn't paying enough attention, or I was distracted or something. But I kept thinking about it, so I decided to rewatch it. So it's went from a 4 to probably an 8 out of 10.
Interesting.
I mean, there's definitely things I missed. Like, I don't know what I was doing, but this really does have some of the most, to me, terrifying parts to it.
Was it the flying vagina? What was it that terrified you?
That would be terrifying to you.
Is that a gay joke? Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
So and some of the sound design is great. So on rewatch,
Unlike this podcast,
what?
the sound design.
Yes, exactly. The sound design is great here.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, so so like I probably wasn't paying attention, but the sounds of screaming at various parts in it, it's just terrifying after you realize what's happening to the people.
Right.
And I think one of the most terrifying parts of that movie is showing the people getting eaten.
Yeah.
And they're just stuck in there, and they're just like, you're screwed, dude. Like, you're not getting out of there. And obviously it's going to take a long time to get through all these people because they're screaming a lot for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not a quick process.
Right.
But I really did appreciate more of the subtext about because whenever I first watched it was like, what is going on here? What the fuck is going on with this chimp? And what are they talking about? Horses and what? I'm like, and then it kind of clicked after I was thinking about it and rewatch. Okay, so it's about you cannot control wild animals, right? So it's kind of folly to do that, and it's going to end up in disaster. But I think in the first, it probably just didn't click with me or whatever. But anyway, I will not go on and on about it. I really have to go back and watch Us. Because and maybe the other thing about it was I just seen the only other Peele movie I'd seen was Get Out, and that's fairly straightforward, right? I mean, again,
I have Nope is the first Jordan Peele vehicle that I've enjoyed. I didn't like his reboot of The Twilight Zone. I did not like Get Out. So the Nope was a welcome surprise for me.
Did you like the Stepford Wives?
I did.
So
both versions. Both versions.
So was there not aspects about this that you would like because it's very similar to the Stepford Wives?
So I mean, yeah, there are aspects that are good. They're thought provoking, but overall, the movie never came together for me. Like the whole vibe and there are bits and pieces I can pick out that I enjoyed, but just overall, I did not enjoy the film.
Okay, but like I say, I mean, the story itself straightforward.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think I was a little taken aback by thinking this was going to be another straightforward type of movie. And maybe I just my brain wasn't in that place where I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I have to take each movie as it is. Wow, what a crazy concept that is. But yeah, so this is one of those movies that I've really changed my mind on.
Okay.
And went to the movies. I was off last week, off this week too, but last week the wife, the kids, everybody was in school, so I decided to have a nice little trip to the movies by myself.
What did we see?
Hang on, do you go to the movies by yourself, Jim, or do you think that's weird?
I have in the past. I haven't lately, though.
Yeah.
See, the reason I don't go is because I don't know how to say this delicately.
Uh-oh.
Every time I tend to go to the movies, yeah, pretty much. Every time I go to the movies by myself, there's usually somebody seated next to me performing an inappropriate act on themselves. It probably if we're going to therapy now, it probably started when I was 12.
What? Okay. Whoa. Let's back this up a second. This is our year-end wrap-up. And now we're uncovering some uncomfortable truths. What sort of theaters are you going to, number one?
So when I was 12 years old, we lived over in Winter Haven, Florida, and there was a dollar movie theater that was behind us. And whenever we got, we were on the honor roll, we got a discount card, so we got to go for 50 cents. So I was always at the movies, always. And on the few times that I went by myself, grown men would sit next to me, and I would get up and move because it would just not be appropriate, the things they were doing.
th-
And I'm talking about a regular movie theater, right? Regular movies, no showboating there.
did you ever think about calling an usher over?
No, I just moved, or I just went home.
Now I see it, Jim. My eyes are wide open now. I
Fuck.
now understand your hate of movies. It is crystal clear. Thank you.
God!
This is like a late Christmas gift. Don't cry. Don't cry. It's okay, Jim.
I'm
It's
not
all over.
crying. I'm not crying.
It's all over now.
I've had too much to drink to cry.
But this is good therapy.
Oh my God! Oh, Jesus.
This is good therapy, Jim.
Mm.
Okay, so
Therapy.
your childhood was basically consisted of ghost rape and Pee Wee Herman's jacking off next to you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did
Only
this
when I was by myself. If I had
Oh,
friends
well,
with me,
yeah,
or I was with my
obviously.
sister. Yeah.
yeah, obviously. Are you saying that like it makes it better or worse?
No, I don't think it makes it better or worse.
Jim, do you need to get a refill?
No, I actually still have half of my drink here, so I'm good.
Well, the other half may be filling with tears. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm crying into my drink. It's okay.
So now, audience, we know the psyche of Jim.
Good luck with that. It's dark in here.
Well, we can see why now.
Yeah.
Holy Michael Jackson, Jim.
Yeah, you
okay.
ain't kidding.
But you're saying this happens to you still?
Well, I haven't been to a movie by myself probably since I was 13 or 14.
Oh, so that's why you go to a movie by yourself now?
Pretty much. Because
Jim,
it didn't just happen once.
Was it the same person?
I don't know. I did not inspect them visually that much. I just got my ass out of there.
Did they offer you any popcorn?
We didn't get the chance to converse, sir.
Jim,
Oh my God.
as a grown ass man now.
Thank
I'm
you
so
very
glad
much.
we can laugh at my trauma. Oh my God,
Okay.
I needed this today. Oh God, did I need this today?
I honestly, Jim, I think you've needed some therapy for years.
Oh my God.
Okay. So Jim, I have an idea for you.
Okay.
We're coming into a brand new year, right? A time for renewal and healing at the start of the year. I challenge you to go to a movie theater by yourself.
Do you want me to get molested?
Lady, go!
Now, Jim, the man that sat next to you is probably dead by this point. He's no longer able to hurt you. Now, you can go and sit in a movie theater and enjoy a movie by yourself. Now, it's okay. It's a safe space now.
Is it really though?
If not, well,
Oh my
I almost
God!
feel like
We have just gone right off the rails here, Mark. Oh my god.
Oh, I haven't.
Oh my god.
Imagine what audience. Imagine what we'll find out next year.
Oh my god.
Jim, does your mother know about your?
No, I never discussed
she
this with
does.
her.
She does. She does.
She
Now.
does now. What?
Okay. Well, to Jim's mom, that may explain a lot too. So, it wasn't your fault. Well, apart from the ghost rape movies, but okay. So, yeah, I went getting back to the topic.
Could we get back on topic, please?
I went to see the 2022 movie, The Menu.
Okay, I'm really curious about this because I've heard some really good reviews, and I really think this is something I need to see.
This is something which it's pretty. It's almost like a high concept movie, and you have to get behind that concept. And I mean, it's probably not much of a spoiler because you can probably tell a lot
They're
of.
eating Soylent Green. Yes, I know.
No, that's what I thought, but but it really is Ralph Fiennes, right? So he is chef, right, and it's very much a Gordon Ramsay like, yes, chef, yes, chef. And
I love Ralph Fiennes.
And there's a number of people have been invited to this restaurant, this very exclusive restaurant, and they've all been picked for certain reasons. Ralph Fiennes goes a little bit like, have you seen The Dentist?
I have.
With Corbin Burnson?
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like that level of, he's got it together, but he's absolutely nuts.
Okay.
But these people have been invited there for a certain reason. And I thought it was going to be kind of more brutal and gory, but it's kind of psychological, some of it, and it's kind of very high concept. Okay. I thought this was good. I gave this one a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
But I feel like if you don't get on board, I mean, the performances are good, and Anna Taylor-Joy is very good. As kind of like the misfit of the people that are invited. Right. And her interplay with Ralph Fiennes is pretty fun. It doesn't make an awful lot of sense. But again, it's one of those high concept things, which and it knows what it is. And, it will give you kind of, they each serve different courses.
Right.
And it'll give you like the ingredients of the course up on screen. And, obviously some of this is kind of funny. So it's kind of very, dark humor, poking fun at people who are like up their own asses. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch. And maybe, Jim, maybe. It's still in the movie theaters. Maybe you could take a trip there by yourself.
I wouldn't count on that before the end of the year.
Well, it might still be in the movie theaters at the start of the year.
Maybe
I challenge you. I both of our listeners also support me on this.
Do they? Do they now? Should I create a poll when I post the episode?
Oh, sure.
Because we did get one person that answered a poll that I posted, and that would be my sister. So, hi, Penny.
Yep. Thank you.
Mark, say hello to my sister.
Hello. Sorry, what was her name?
Penny.
Penny, why did you not protect Jim in his childhood cinematic torture sessions?
She wasn't living with me at that point.
Oh, okay. Well, she gets a pass. Jim's mom.
Yeah. That's easy. She didn't know.
Hang on, Jim. Okay? You need to be straight with me now. Is our entire listening audience all your relatives?
Probably.
And they're finding out so much about you.
They are.
And that's awesome. Okay,
better,
so that is
better therapy through radio.
Radio. Come on, Granddad. Okay, so that is my wrap up of 2022.
So the only thing I want to add is I have seen one movie. Well, there's two movies because I did not. We already talked about one, but it bears repeating. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is a
Yeah.
phenomenal fucking movie.
Yes.
And also, I watched Violent Night with
Okay.
David Harbour.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this: I expected a much more actiony, exciting, balls to the wall, shoot 'em up, kill 'em kind of movie.
Right.
And you sort of get some of that in the third act, but most of it is just boring and not interesting to watch. Beverly D'Angelo plays the matriarch of the family that is taken hostage.
Oh, interesting.
Honestly, she's okay. The main characters are, for the most part, your stereotypical, rich kids fighting over mommy's money when she dies.
Mm.
David
Knives
Harbour.
Out, something.
David Harbour plays an okay Santa Claus that used to be a Viking.
Well, yeah, of course.
He was a Viking warrior, but then he became Santa Claus somehow when he died. But now
Well,
he's a foul-mouthed drunk who hates kids because he's disillusioned.
Have you seen Santa's Sleigh?
I have, and I enjoyed that movie very much.
So, do you think Bill Goldberg was a better
Santa? Yes.
See, that's interesting because the thing that
so Santa's not the problem with this film. The problem with this film is tone. Like, it needed to be balls out, just absolutely batshit crazy from start to finish. That's the only way it would have been any fun. This movie goes into Santa trying to be soft and kind and gentle to ripping somebody's head off, almost literally. And it just doesn't. It tonally, it shifts so much. It's no fun to watch.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, okay, so whenever you look at the cover, whenever this first was kind of like mentioned, you see like David Harbour, Angry Santa, Violent Night. Yeah. It conjures up, Santa slashers from the past and
not at all
movies.
Nope.
But then I was reading some reviews and were like, no. And again, I think it's from the guy that wrote or directed John Wick. I know it's supposed to be like action all the way and fun, just turn your brain off sort of thing. But you were not impressed?
I was not, only because like the first act of the movie is Santa getting drunk and bitching about what pieces of shit kids are. The second act of the movie is him getting his ass kicked by the people that have done this home invasion. And the third act, which is where some of the fun comes in, is when Santa finally says "fuck this" and just unleashes on them.
Right, so it's like a wrestling match.
Right. But then, you have this tonal shift where he is having this walkie-talkie conversation with this little girl, and it restores his faith. And
that's disappointing.
Yeah, there's so many tonal shifts in the movie that it just made it very distracting and not much fun to watch.
So, did you watch this in the movie theaters or no?
I did not. I bought this on video, or not on video, but on
demand
stream. Yeah, thank you. On Vudu.
Do you think you would have enjoyed it more if you were in a cinema by yourself?
I doubt it.
What if some guy sat next to you?
At my age, I might enjoy that more.
What if some 13?
I probably would have walked out.
All right. Okay, so the other thing which I watched, I guess I should just say, is So I rewatched Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 because it is just awesome, and it is the funniest thing ever. I love that movie. Keep saying. And you haven't seen it yet, right?
I have not.
So you've seen the first or no?
I have. And I did start watching the second one. I just haven't finished it yet.
I mean, the Immortals. You talk about great movie openings. right? You talk about some of the classic, Indiana Jones and the ball and all. Oh, wow, that's amazing. But can anything top Eric Freeman as Ricky in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2? He's sitting there, and the psychiatrist comes in.
Mm.
The psychiatrist is like, "Oh, hey, my name's like, I don't know, bring David, or you can call me Doc." So Eric Freeman looks around and says, "Fuck off, Doc." It's kind of the height of cinema.
Mm.
Why he was not nominated for an Oscar is just a crime to film. Anyway, yeah. For those that haven't seen any of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies, especially the first one, you can skip the first one, go watch the second one because it's got all the best bits of the first one.
Yep.
Plus, it's got Eric Freeman being just fucking bonkers in it.
So let's do this, Mark.
Mhm.
Since we've done our year in review, let's talk about what we can look forward to.
Right.
So
I
have a list.
Oh, you
I
have
do
a list.
from ScreenRant.com. It's
Okay.
all the horror movies that are supposed to be released next year. So
Okay,
we are
let's
going
do it.
to start with January.
And I'm gonna have a couple more after that because I was looking at a couple of different lists and found some on another.
So we're going to start with Megan. Comes out January 13th, 2023. Right. This is the AI robot that takes protecting her charge to a whole new level. Are you excited about this?
I do like what's her face as the actress, Ashley Williams.
Okay. Allison.
Right. I've liked her in both things I've seen her in, and I think she's a very likable actress, even whenever she's being horrible. This one I think is going to rely on, obviously you're going to talk about Chucky, right? Chucky.
Right.
But I think this one is probably going to try and rely as much on the kind of uncanny valley-ness of the doll, and they've shown that with kind of like more of the dance moves and that sort of thing.
So there's this phenomenon, right, that I saw, and I think I have to say,
phenomenon.
No, there's this phenomenon where you're what?
Phenomenal.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So there's this phenomenon where, things look just real enough, but there's still something that's not quite right. So it sort of puts you on edge.
Yes.
I forget the name for it, but that's what I get when I see Megan.
It's Uncanny Valley. I just said that, dude.
Oh, I missed it then. Sorry. Wasn't paying attention.
Still thinking about 13-year-old Jim in the movie theater by yourself.
I think I was. Yeah, I'm sorry. I totally missed that.
Yeah, I said this movie is basically going to rely, I think, heavily on the Uncanny Valley-ness of it. Otherwise, because whenever they did that Child's Play remake, right, they kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a supernatural Chucky, right? It was malfunctioning Chucky,
right?
So it's kind of the same.
And I think I'm hoping, because I said this when I saw the Child's Play remake, because I love Aubrey Plaza, she's great, but I think that had they taken the Chucky doll out of that movie, it could have been really good. So I'm hoping this movie does that.
Yeah, I mean, not to say something has to be totally. I mean, God, if like you love slasher movies, right? And those are all pretty much the same thing. So I'm not trying to say, oh well, it's just another Chucky clone. Well, you could say the same thing about Jason or Michael or any of those things, right? So we'll see how it is because because Allison Williams is in it. I'll probably watch it.
So next, for January 27th, 2023, we have a movie I had not heard of, but I'm really interested in now that I'm reading about it. It's The Last Voyage of Demeter.
Dracula.
Yeah, it's a Dracula. I'm guessing this is going to be like a retelling of the Count Olaf story, maybe. From what it's set at sea. It will
Well,
focus
this
on
is
the
good.
chapter of Stoker's Dracula where the Count stows
Right.
away inside a coffin on the
It's
eponymous.
it's his journey to England, and that's
Okay.
when the boat that's carrying his coffin lands at England. Everybody's dead on the boat.
Right.
That's part of the story, right? So they're
Yes, that part I do know.
right. So this is going to be like a made up what happened on that journey.
And I think that's a great take to
Yeah.
to put on it. So I'm looking forward to that because I had not heard of this movie yet.
No, I hadn't heard
Okay.
of it either. Yep.
So next we have a movie that have almost zero interest in.
Mhm.
A Knock at the Cabin, February 3rd, 2023.
Yeah, we've already talked about this in your M.
Right.
Night Shyamalan.
It's not even the M. Night Shyamalan thing. I listened to the audiobook
Right. You didn't like
and I found it very drawn out and boring, which is sad because it's kind of sad too because he has the author has another book called Head Full of Ghosts that I absolutely adore, but this is just not for me. It's more of a conversation piece because there's not a whole lot of
So-
murder or action in it.
But here's the thing, though. So you've already read the source material,
I have.
but as we know, a lot of times what's on screen may or may not reflect the source material that well.
That is true because I
So
will
are
say
you
that they
interested
have,
in even curiosity to see?
No, because my biggest thing is one thing I can't stand is when they make arbitrary changes to characters. So Dave Bautista playing the main character in this movie is garbage because the character he's playing was supposed to be somebody that you would instantly trust. And I'm sorry, but seeing Dave Bautista walk up to my house in the middle of the woods, trust is not happening.
Why are you being Batistist?
That was bad even for you, sir.
Dave Bautista seems like a nice guy to me.
Not saying he's not, but he's
Yeah.
too imposing for that character.
What did the guy in the cinema look like? Tim? Was he a big man?
Jesus, I don't
Bald?
remember.
Bald?
I don't remember.
So it depends on. Okay, so there are two different mediums, right? So
Right.
I think it's fine to change something to a certain degree as long as it still fits in and
Yeah.
still works.
Right, but this to me has the feelings of The Dark Half, where they changed the main character's daughter to be Alicia Silverstone rather than the handicapped, hobbled daughter that was in the book.
Well, you could say the same thing about Carrie, right?
No,
Well, Carrie in the book was
it
like
was
a
a heavy girl.
vastly overweight
Right.
girl.
Yeah, I get that, but that to me wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't read the book before I saw the film. It never bothered me.
Okay. As long as you're consistent, Jim. That's all I ask for.
Fuck you, Mark. So March 31st, we have Mark's favorite slasher franchise,
Scream!
Scream 6.
Can't wait.
Are you excited about this?
I am super duper excited.
Oh,
do I
that's
have a button
fantastic.
for? Hang on. Do I have a button for excitement?
That's weak, and I don't believe you.
Okay. How about?
No, that's too much.
Thank you very much.
So next we go to April 14th, 2023. We have the Nick Cage vehicle, Renfield.
Yes. And by the way, these are all just like major studio ones, right? So
Right.
Of course, Nicolas Cage. So
Yeah, and it's slated as a horror comedy anyway. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I'll read you a little bit. It'll follow, based on a story by Robert Kirkman, Renfield will follow Nicholas Holt's titular lackey as he leaves his former employer, Count Dracula, because he has fallen for a traffic cop.
Mm-hmm.
And
So that-
Dracula will be played by none other than
Mr. Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
So that's Robert Kirkman, who wrote The Walking Dead, right?
Correct.
Yeah. See, here's the thing with Nicolas Cage. He is a lot of fun.
He is.
But do I ever think that I would, and maybe I will, go to the movie theater to watch him in something like a Nicolas Cage vehicle?
In the
Again?
80s, I would have.
But I mean, right now,
Yeah, no, probably not.
and that's even with somebody with me to protect me,
Oh, God.
so I don't end up like Jim.
Wah, wah, wah. So next, we have the April 21st release of Mark's favorite director's new movie, Evil Dead Rise.
But that's directed by some guy I haven't heard of.
Directed by Lee Cronin.
I don't know who that is.
Well, let's see. Who do we know that's in this film?
Did you think it was directed by Sam Raimi?
No, I know he's just a producer.
So who do you think it was directed by? Because you don't know this director, and you said
I have no idea who this director is.
So how do you think it was by, like, obviously a director?
I saw the name Sam Raimi and I thought I'd make a joke, and it just landed poorly. Bite me. So let's see.
So Evil Dead Rise. I guess it's supposed to be set in a high rise, but then I've heard other things like it's not. But I don't know.
Based on stuff, it looks like. So it says the plot follows a reunion of two estranged sisters whose meeting is abruptly cut short by the arrival of the Evil Dead demons, which results in a harrowing battle for survival. That's all it says.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says apparently there's already a sequel in the works that'll take place in an intimate family setting. So I have no idea.
Have we discussed the Evil Dead remake? I'm sure we have.
I'm sure we have. I thought it was just okay. I thought they did some interesting things, but I don't think it was great. But it wasn't terrible.
It's like I like the gore.
Yep. I did like how she lost her hand.
But
I thought that was a nice little trick to pay homage.
I thought every single character was just fucking annoying. I'm like, you could almost just do this without the Evil Dead name, really.
Right.
But I like some of the visuals anyway. But I wasn't a big fan overall.
So next we're going to stop. We're going to skip to July. And we have Insidious 5.
Just stop.
Well, here's one thing I do like about this film, and I don't know. I like about the premise of this film is it's going back to the characters from the first Insidious. Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne will both be in this film.
What was the so? What was the last one? Who was in the last one?
I think it was just Lin Shaye, the psychic.
It was like the last, like the key one.
Yeah, and that didn't have the only people that were in that film that had anything to do with the series of the film were Lin Shaye and her team.
Actually, I remember thinking that. I remember thinking that's okay. So maybe I should just wait and see.
So this one is set 10 years after the first film. And it follows Dalton, the little boy from the first film, as he goes off to college. So, I mean, it could be good. I think the first two were really well done, personally. Oh, God. I didn't even know this was coming out. Sorry. I skipped ahead. So, is that who I think it is? It is. Oh, my God.
It is.
So next we skip ahead to August 11th, 2023. We have a remake of an Eddie Murphy film. It is The Haunted Mansion.
Never seen it.
So, I mean, it was a Disney film, so
Yeah.
it sort of was what it was. But this one is Rosario Dawson is playing a single mom, and she's going to assemble a team of famous faces to exercise a house. So we have Tiffany Haddish, Owen Wilson, and Danny DeVito.
Oh, Danny DeVito.
Yeah, this sounds like a cash grab, and it sounds like it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, it's for kids, right? So who cares?
Yeah, it is. It's a Disney flick, so it probably will do very well. But for me personally, it just sounds like garbage.
Well, I don't really watch kids' movies, so
I do.
yeah, I know. It takes you back to your younger days, Jim.
It
The
does.
Halason days of Jim when he was young.
Either prior to or after the age of 13, right?
Well, that summer changed you, Jim.
It did. Okay, so next we go to September, and we have The Nun 2. I don't know how to feel about this because I didn't like the original. I thought it was garbage.
These are just like are these Blumhouse like the Insidious ones too?
Yeah, yep.
Like it's just like a cavalcade of just shit that they produce. Just hey, this one was successful, but
Well, this one came out of the Conjuring.
right.
This
I
is
know,
out
but
of the Conjuring
the
universe.
Conjuring and the Insidious are all like James Wan stuff, and that's why at least I appreciated Malignant.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done.
Because at least James Wan, who is a very talented guy, right? But like just it almost feels like he just makes movies to franchise them out to other directors.
Yeah, let's talk about Blumhouse because coming up next, October 13th, 2023, David Gordon Green is going to fuck up something else.
Pazuzu dies tonight, Jim.
Oh, yes, he does. Oh, what movie did I watch that we used that on, Mark? Oh my god, I thought I was going to die. Oh, it was in Violent Night. In Violent Night, John Leguizamo utters the ever memorable line, Christmas dies tonight.
I could get behind that though, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could.
I am not a fan of Christmas.
Nor am I. So this is the first in a threequel.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry fucking Christmas. See, and this is talking it up because if anyone can make an Exorcist sequel or reboot work, it's Green and the Hollywood 2018 team. No, it's not. So, Leslie Odom Jr. in an undisclosed role will be in this, as will Ellen Burstyn.
So let's just talk about The Exorcist, this film franchise for a little bit. The first one, rightfully a classic.
Yes.
Brilliantly directed, acted, superbly written.
Yep.
Exorcist 2: The Heretic, Jim.
It's one of my guilty pleasures.
So I don't know if you've ever heard like William Friedkin or Blatty talk about Exorcist 2, or even I've got the Blu-ray for Exorcist 3, and Brad Dourif is just beating the hell out of Exorcist 2. Or like William Friedkin, like you should look it up. Just look up William Friedkin Exorcist 2. He is so fucking funny. he talks about a story where they go to like one of the premieres, and he's there like because he's just interested, and he said like the executives, the movie executives were in the back, right, just seeing what the audience were doing, and I guess at some point, some guy, like after 10 minutes, some guy in the audience stood up and said, "Hey, the fuckers who made this are in the back of this movie theater," and they like ran out. So The Exorcist 2, I will say this: it is, I think it is probably definitely in one of those guilty pleasure things. I mean, it's just
It's terrible in all the right ways, though.
It is. It is. I was watching something. Guy said, "Oh, it's so boring." Like I don't see that. There's
No, I don't
something
either.
always happening, and it's
Yep.
always ludicrous.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and it just gets worse and worse
worse.
and better and worse and better because it's worse.
Yep.
It and the soundtrack, it's like screaming in your fucking ear, like with the African.
Yeah.
and it's like she's tap dancing, and then she's like got her hand on the Exorcist other girl's hand.
I know.
And it's got
What
her
was
heart
that even?
pumping, and then they go back to the house, and the babysitter person's gone evil, and then she dies, and the house is splitting. Like
She dies by stepping on a light, like stepping on a headlight and bursting into flames.
right.
It was glorious.
But it's so weird, right? So John Borman directed this, right? And he directed Deliverance,
Right.
But more closely, I think, associated with this movie is Excalibur. I don't know if you've ever seen Excalibur.
I have not.
It's a really good movie, but it's kind of bonkers, right? You think about the Excalibur kind of mythos, the round table and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But it's kind of out there. But like Exorcist, like who
So
sat there and said,
I will say, go ahead.
"This
Sorry.
is a good-" who sat there and looked at that script or the dailies and said, "Yeah, this is great. Keep on going."
So I didn't realize that there actually is a sequel in book form that was written by William Peter Blatty called Legion, and I just downloaded the audiobook.
Jim. Okay, so thank you. This is a good segue. So we're talking about the Exorcist series of movies, right? So with the new ones coming out, they want to obviously bank on that movie title and everything that comes along with it, right? All the nostalgia. Right. So whenever Exorcist 3 came around, Blatty was like, no, it's going to be called Legion. It's got nothing to do with The Exorcist. There's no exorcism. It's a separate type of thing. But the studio were like, we're not going to give you the money to make it unless you call Exorcist 3 and have an exorcism in it. So Legion is...
Oh, yeah, it is. Now that I'm actually getting to it, because the only thing I had seen when I purchased the book, because it was in one of those bundle sales on Audible, was that it said, where is it? Yeah, it says the included in the series is The Exorcist. So I saw it was a series. I didn't even read the synopsis, but now that I'm looking at it, you're right. It is absolutely The Exorcist 3.
It is, and it's definitely worth reading. Here's the thing, though. It's almost like some of the decisions, right? So they want to have like this exorcist at the end, or exorcism at the end and stuff. Doesn't make any sense in the movie, right?
Right.
Because it wasn't in the book and they shoehorned it in. But, well, I would tell you the ending of the book, but the ending of the book feels very anticlimactic.
And it says, and that's funny because in the little blurb it says that it is the thrilling climax that only the author of The Exorcist could tell.
So in book form, it works. In movie form, it's not as, it doesn't have that crescendo ending that you like to see in some. So I think there was good and bad in that, but obviously I think The Exorcist 3 overall is an absolute classic. But I will say the true sequel to The Exorcist is the Ninth Configuration, Jim. Okay,
Mark. Much like the Facebook group, that movie went nowhere.
But it's still the true sequel.
I don't know about that.
So it has a character from The Exorcist as the main protagonist.
It does.
And it references the first movie.
It does.
So it's actually the real sequel, even though it's not a horror movie, obviously.
I disagree.
I mean,
I think
obviously in tone and everything else.
All joking aside, I know I'm giving you shit about that movie, but I actually did not mind the Ninth Configuration. I thought it was definitely an interesting movie.
Oh yeah,
I don't think that I ever would have equated it to The Exorcist, though.
oh, and it's funny because it's just that little trivia nugget in my head.
Mhm.
So whenever people talk about it, or I bring it up whenever they talk about Exorcist 2, and I say, "Hey, you should watch the Ninth Configuration," and then they watch. I'm like, "Do you see the connection?" Like, no, I don't really see that. And I'm like, go back to the first movie or the book where they're having the party downstairs, where
Right.
Reagan pees herself. There's an astronaut about to go up into space, and she's like, "You're going to die up there," and that's who he is, and that's why he goes mad, because he doesn't want to go into space.
Right.
But anyway, so we're talking about The Exorcist. So, and then we have those. Then we have the prequel and the remade prequel.
Yeah, I mean,
And then
that
they
was a
release
giant
them
mess.
both. Then they release them both anyway.
So you have to have had a preference out of the two. Which one was it?
I can't. Honestly, I can't remember the difference. I can remember the differences between the two, but I can't remember which one's which.
I remember.
There's the Rennie Harlan one, and the other guy one.
Right, the Stellan Skarsgård one is the one that I enjoyed.
No, he's in
I don't
both
remember.
of them. He's in both of them.
Is he?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So the first guy came in and did the whole movie. They didn't like it. So I think they brought in Rennie Harlan, and they had the same cast basically, but they
He
redid
was.
a
Holy
lot of
crap!
the
How did I
scenes.
not know that? So the one I'm talking about is Dominion.
And that's from the original. I think that's the original one, right?
Yeah.
Who directed that?
This one was directed by Rennie Harlan.
Okay, so it was the other one.
That's the one that I enjoyed. The one you're talking about. Oh wait, hang on. I lied. For some reason, it was showing me the other one. Dominion. God damn it. Hang on. Dominion was directed by Paul Schrader.
Paul Schrader. There we go. So
That's the one. That's the one that I appreciate. The one that I like the most. The other one I don't remember anything about.
And that one I think is more of the psychological-ish one.
Yes.
And the Harlan one's a little bit more bombastic. But
Yep.
but either one of those are just like they're forgettable.
Right. Yeah, they're not fantastic, but I did enjoy which Dominion was the second one, because Exorcist the Beginning came out in 2004, the Rennie Harlan version. Then Dominion was 2005.
Right. So the Rennie Harlan version was the updated one, and
Okay.
it didn't do well. So they decided to release the other one anyway, since it
Right.
already shot it. So
Yeah, and I thought that one. Go ahead.
So my main point is the Exorcist franchise. Apart from the first one, and unless you're a horror fan, you've probably not seen 2, 3, or the other two. And if
Right.
you are a horror fan, you probably only like the third one,
Right.
like actually liked. So
Right.
it's so you're releasing. So it's not like a Halloween or something. I mean, I don't see, around Halloween, whenever a lot of people watch horror movies, a lot of people putting on The Exorcist Dominion,
Mm-hmm.
or The Exorcist 2, or even The Exorcist 3.
Right.
So I mean, I don't think it's got that same popular type of thing. I mean, it's got name recognition, obviously, but
Right.
they're really, really, really like struggling now. Like they've done Texas Chainsaw Massacre to death. They've done
Mhm.
Halloween to death. I would not be surprised. They've tried to reboot Jason. They've tried to reboot Freddy. And we're going to get on to later on in October. I think probably the next one on your list is Saw.
It is.
They're having such trouble finding things to make, which they think are going to make money, that aren't original.
Right.
And those ones, again, like Malignant, I think a lot of these just go straight to like streaming services
Yes.
because they're hedging their bets.
Right.
and I get it. You're trying to make money, but if you can invest money and have good, um, decent money, like executives or people who know what the hell they're talking about, or can bring people who know what they're talking about in, and stop saying, "Hey, James Wan, come up with some idea, and we'll have 5 or 6 sequels if they're successful."
Right.
Like, but this has been horror probably from the 80s. Really, it's just
Yeah.
been. But at least in the 80s, it wasn't so much. And it's the same now, I guess, with streaming. You get a lot of stuff that's much better. That's just it was either just on VHS, VHS, or now direct to streaming.
Right.
But I wish some of these companies would, and I guess A24 is kind of doing that a little bit. They're putting some money behind some of these movies which are more original, even if you like them or not. But kudos to them for doing that. Those are more the arty side. But it would be good to have like somebody come up with like more original, fun stuff. Right? I guess like Terrifiers come out and people like that and stuff. But a little bit more of that, even if I don't like them.
So
I still appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
The next one on my list is one that I'm actually kind of excited about because I enjoyed the original so much. Is Salem's Lot. I think they could do a lot with updating this story. And I've enjoyed every version of this movie of Salem's Lot. The 79 miniseries, the 2004 miniseries, I've liked them all. Chapel Wait, which is the prequel to Salem's Lot, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Toby Hooper original miniseries was effective.
Yes.
I've read the book. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a vampire novel. I'm like, I'm not big into vampires. Have you seen Return to Salem's Lot?
I have.
What did you think of that movie?
It was ridiculous.
Oh, it's a Larry Cohen movie, so it's just fucking bonkers. Michael Moriarty's back in it.
Yeah.
Or not back in it, but he's back in another Larry Cohen movie. So
yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. The vampires trying to live normal lives. It was just kind of ridiculous.
It's just such a fucking crazy movie. It's a real fun movie. Starts to drag, and then it gets fun again. Like the old guy that they team up with. Like, he's just fantastic.
Yep.
I just rewatched it recently, like probably a year or two ago, having not seen it since like the 80s, late 80s or early 90s, and I couldn't remember anything about it. I'm like, holy shit, this is just fucking wonderful 80s nonsense.
Okay, so we have 3 more films to get through. This one I'm not excited about at all because I hated the original. I take that back. I loved the original up until the final jump scare.
The Strangers.
Yes.
Like, why the fuck are you rebooting the...
it is almost 20 years old, or it's almost 20 years old.
But still, this is not...
Hey, and guess who is directing it?
Sam Raimi.
Rennie Harlan.
Good on him for still working. Yeah, why? But I mean, isn't it just like a home invasion movie? Again, I haven't seen it. Like, why do you need to remake it?
So we have Rachel Shenton from Switched at Birth, which I've never heard of. Madeline Petch from Riverdale. Gabriel Basso from Super 8. Emma Horvath and Froy Gutierrez from Hocus Pocus 2. That's the entire cast.
Because it's not like, you could say, well, why'd they remake Chucky, right?
Right.
Okay, but at least they did something different. How much difference are you going to make in a home invasion movie?
Yeah, I mean, you can only invade a home so much, right?
We're going to double invade that home. We're going to invade it, then just walk out, and then re-invade it.
I'm gonna invade it so hard.
But it's like if they remade The Purge right now. What's the point?
No, they just keep making sequels. So what is the point?
No, I know, but they made a sequel to The Strangers recently.
Yeah.
And then they're doing like, I don't know, Jim. Sometimes I wonder.
So the next one actually sounds like it could be good if it ever actually comes out, because we've already seen its release date pushed back twice, and that's going to be Dark Harvest. So originally it was supposed to be released in 2021, but it was pushed back due to the pandemic. Then it was supposed to be released in September 2022, but was pushed back again when Amazon acquired MGM. So now they're saying it's going to be 2023. And this is a small Midwestern town, where every fall a specter named Sawtooth Jack goes up against a violent gang of boys, hoping to take down the creature once and for all. So it sounds like it could be a balls to the wall fun movie.
Is this a kids' movie?
I believe it is a
Or
YA.
is this a man's movie?
It's a YA movie, probably.
So it is a kids' movie.
It depends on your definition of kid.
Well, I'm a kid myself, Jim. Can't you hear?
You, sir, are not a child. You just have the mentality of one.
I'm actually not a child. I'm a robot.
Actually, you just sound like you lost your voice box. So
Okay. Yes.
the
Ooh.
the last one on my list is The Boogeyman. It's a Stephen King story. Let's see, and it basically is a character in a psychiatrist's office telling about the horrors that he suffered at the hands of the Boogeyman, and it will be brought to life on Hulu in 2023.
Like, yeah. I have a few more just before we go. I'm sure you have
Okay.
to get back to your therapy session.
No.
So Maxine,
Heck.
which is
Yeah.
a sequel to the X/Pearl movie
Yeah.
universe now, I guess.
Yeah,
I have not seen
whatever.
either of those two movies yet.
I've seen X. I have not seen Pearl or Maxine.
Well, Maxine has to be released yet. These are upcoming movies, Jim.
I don't ever plan on seeing Maxine because, to be honest, I wasn't that enthralled with X.
Yeah. I will have to have a think about it if I ever see X or Pearl. Which I'll probably try them out, even though I don't really like the director. But maybe he'll do something interesting for a change. Okay, so this is the one that I really wanted to talk to you about. I can't believe that you didn't even think about this, Jim. Do you know what it is?
Clearly not, or I would have talked about it.
So there was a movie that came out, Jim. 2018.
Okay.
And it turned into one of your favorite movies of all time.
Oh, did it now?
With Jason Statham in it.
Oh, we're talking about The
All right.
Trench.
Jason Statham.
Right.
The Trench, yes.
The Trench is coming out.
Yes, it is.
Do you have expectations for this?
I do not. Because I was pleasantly not disappointed by the Meg, that I am leaving all of my expectations at the door. I just want it to be a fun ride. I don't really care about the story. I don't care about the action. I just want it to be a fun movie that I can turn my brain off for an hour.
Wow. Ben Wheatley is directing this. Didn't he do A Field in England and Kill List? Is that the person that I'm thinking of? Look up Ben Wheatley so I don't have to get off this page. Wheatley.
Ben Wheatley?
Wheatley.
Ben Wheatley movies.
Wheatley.
Oh, is that how you spell it? Thank you.
Wheatley.
He did Happy New Year's, Rebecca, High Rise, Fire Fire, The ABCs of Death, Down Terraced, Sightseers, In
Mm.
the Earth. Oh, and these other two movies that I've never heard of: A Field in England and Kill
Ah,
List.
there we go. So it is. So it is that guy. So
Yeah.
like, Kill List and A Field in England are kind of arty-ish.
Okay.
A Field in England more so. But Kill List has kind of got like that arty flair. So it's a weird to have him do like the Meg too.
Yeah. Well,
So anyway,
so
you never know.
I'm like I said, I'm just looking for a movie that was as fun as the first film. That's all.
A movie,
That's all I'm hoping for.
a movie that was as fun as the first one.
Yeah, I thought the first one was very fun. I did. I enjoyed it a lot. Gonna keep
Okay.
triggering my PTSD. Go ahead.
Let's see if there's any other ones here. Mhm. Thought I saw another one. So, Saw 10, right?
We talked about that
We
one.
kind of touched on that one, which we should do some sort of Saw retrospective at some point.
I've only seen the first three.
So you've only got like seven.
Seven to go.
Yeah. I actually quite like. Well, and that probably doesn't include like Spiral and ones like that that are kind of offshoots.
Yeah,
I
probably
I
not.
quite like the Saw movies. They're kind of like soap operas, but with like gore
With
in
pigs' heads.
it. With big heads. Let's see. Is there anything else? Why are they all bringing up the same thing? I thought there was another one I saw. David Gordon Green's Exorcist sequel. Like, why do I have to have his fucking name on it? David Gordon Green. Like that's some sort of badge of honor. Fuck off. You know what I say to David Gordon Green? Did that come through?
It did. It did.
Good, good. Okay. I can't be bothered looking up anything else right now.
So I did. So there was another clickbait article that I fell for, but I'm just going to ask you about this one movie
Mhm.
because I think this would be a movie you'd enjoy, but I don't know. The Ryan Reynolds vehicle Voices. Have you seen it?
No.
I strongly recommend. It's a dark comedy, and I
Right.
strongly recommend you look it up.
Is it like the animals are telling him to kill people or something? Or
There's a lot of things telling him to kill people.
oh, okay. So just things are telling him to do things.
Yeah, like the at one point, if I remember correctly, there's the decapitated head of one of his victims is talking to him. You know, it's a it's a bonkers movie. It's a lot of fun.
Huh. I'll have to look that up. Oh, I still have to watch Swiss Army Man too,
Oh yeah, I
Another
haven't
one.
seen that one yet either.
which the guys that did Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was
Yep.
their last week.
After having seen that, I will definitely have to look that up.
Yep. With Harry Potter or the other guy that like Harry
No.
Potter.
It's Daniel Radcliffe.
It is Harry Potter then.
Yep. So
Okay.
what do you got this week? Anything? Since we just did a year in review.
On my to watch list. No, I've been suffering from my usual spending more time trying to figure out what the fuck I'm going to watch than actually watching anything, and then just getting frustrated watching YouTube.
Right.
You know, first world problems.
So I have not really watched anything too much, but I think last time I talked about the book Monster that I was listening to.
Mm-hmm.
I also listened to a book called Lineage by Joe Hart, which was a bit eh. Slewfoot I talked about, that was great. But I just finished what is the one I just finished? Attempted Vampirism by L.G. Estrella. It's a fun little. I mean, there's no real stakes because nobody ever gets hurt or dies. So it's just kind of like a fun little read.
So
And
hang on.
currently,
Whoa, Jim.
yeah.
There's no real stakes.
Yes, no real stakes. So, I mean, it's a fun read if you like, a world, medieval times where, vampires and werewolves and witches and elves and orcs are all real. But it's really well written and there's a lot of humor in it. I enjoy it. But I did just start the Max Potter box set number 4, which is a fun read because it's essentially about this guy who moves to North Carolina and they start seeing ghosts and then start dealing with witches. And it's an urban fantasy kind of thing, but they're really well done. And this is one of the few times where I really appreciate the narrator. And the narrator is the author, Stuart Jaffe.
Mm-hmm.
And he does an excellent job. Like, fantastic.
Yeah, sometimes the narrator can make or break even a good or, a bad book.
And one of the only other authors that I really like when he narrates his own books is Neil Gaiman.
Yes,
he does a really good job.
I listened to his North mythologies.
Mm-hmm.
But here, I think I've maybe talked about this. William Peter Blatty reading The Exorcist, talking about The Exorcist.
I don't remember who read The Exorcist audiobook that I listened to.
Very interesting. I wondered, I kind of struggled when he started doing Reagan, but eventually I kind of went with it. But overall, he was fantastic reading. She wouldn't think, but
they have that's the Exorcist, the beginning. Who read? Oh yeah, I guess the one that I did read the one that I listened to was William Peter Blatty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't realize that was the narrator. I read that book, a physical copy of that book, before I listened to the audiobook, so.
Very good.
So, anything else you want to talk about, Mark?
Hello.
Oh, fuck.
It's me.
Don't get us for copyright infringement, sir.
Oh, this is on a sound card. I doubt it's an actual band. Okay. Nope. I think that is us for this year. I think for many people around the world, 2022 will be known as the year horror movies and shit began. And they will probably celebrate this for years to come.
You think so, huh?
And they're very welcome.
Well, I don't disagree.
Jim's family, you're all welcome. for this insight into Jim's psyche and what happened to Jim as he was a child.
Jesus Christ.
Is that what he said his name was?
No.
He didn't come onto you? Sorry.
No, I moved seats before that happened.
You were saved.
Oh my God.
And if you'd like us to start a political and religious podcast for 2023, please let us know. Oh my God. I would love that.
Oh, Jesus. I don't think I'm well informed enough to keep up with you on that topic.
I just invite people on. I'll just talk nonsense for hours. As usual.
Yeah, we do. We do tend to get carried away.
I will. The loony bin.
Yeah, right. So anyway, Thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate you.
And we'll see you next year.
We'll see you next year.
Unless you listen to this after the new year.
Well, yeah, because I haven't even released the Christmas episode we recorded yet.
Right. So this is time travel. we're in the past now.
Yes, we are.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.